Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back again today with another fantasy football video. Today's video, Week 2 waiver wire ads. So, before I start the video, I'd like to ask if you guys could please go down below and click that subscribe button, because not only is it going to help me, it's also going to help you, because I'm helping you guys dominate your league with daily videos every single day, except for Sunday. There was no videos, but every other day, there are videos. So before fucking already said that, so let's get right into the video. Also follow me on Twitter at NotoriousFantasy, FNTSY. The tweets are fucking amazing. Let's get into these waiver wire ads. First guy, quarterback Joshua Allen, Buffalo QB, owned in 24.2% on NFL.com. I use NFL.com for the metrics. They're probably very similar on every single website, obviously, and some higher and some lower. So his matchup this week is at the New York Football Giants. Played well last week at the Jets. 254 yards, 2 tutties, which was one from rushing, one from passing, but he threw 2 picks. And that doesn't really worry me because the Jets defense is actually pretty good. The Giants defense is like a fucking sieve. He's going to absolutely pick apart the sorry ass New York Giants just like Dickie Dak Prescott did last week. Should be easy if you are in need of a quarterback. If you have, say, Famous Jameis and you hate Famous Jameis because he just absolutely fucked you in the ass, just like he fucked me in the ass, then you are going to start Josh Allen this week. Go ahead and pick him up. He should be great this week. I am sure of it. Put the fucking mortgage on the fact that Josh Allen's going to be great this week. Next guy, John Brown, Buffalo wideout with Josh Allen, owned in 5.4% of leagues on NFL.com. 7 receptions for 123 yards and a tutty week 1 at the New York Giants. He's clearly the wide receiver 1 on the team, and the wide receiver 1 on the team really does have a lot of value. We saw it at the end of last year with Robert Foster being a 10-plus point guy every single game, and now that guy is John Brown, not Robert Foster, and he is that easy week 2 matchup at the Giants. That's what I was talking about with Josh Allen. If you have these two, you say you put John Brown in your flex, you start Josh Allen, you're going to have a pretty good week this week. Next guy, Marquise, aka Hollywood Brown, Baltimore wideout, owned in 8.6% on NFL.com. Now his numbers, these are the craziest numbers you'll ever see from a man. Unless his name's Randy Moss. 4 receptions, 147 yards, and 2 touchdowns against my sorry ass Miami Dolphins. Was only in on 14% of the snap, or not 14%, 14 snaps, and targeted 5 whole times. With more use, we could see huge games like this. Now, I don't think we're ever going to see a game where he gets 4 receptions and 147 yards, but maybe with more use, and because he was dealing with an injury in the offseason, he was walking around on the sidelines a bit funny during the games, but I think at the end of the day, having a game with 4 receptions, 147 yards, and 2 touchdowns probably won't happen again. Maybe we'll see games where like 8 for 100 and a touchdown, or 8 for 100 just straight up. Even then, I love that. I think Marquise Brown is definitely a solid pickup this week. Next, receiver, John Ross, Cincinnati wideout, owned at 1.6% on NFL.com. Now, this is a guy that I would pick up, but I have a lot of caution. You got to stay cautious when you pick up this guy because he had the game of his life, okay? 7 receptions on 12 targets for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns, kind of like Marquise Brown, except for with more usage, more time on the field. You also have to figure out and add at the cost of John Ross is that he'll be useless once AJ Green gets back. Do you really want to start the wide receiver 3 on the Bengals, Andy Dalton's Bengals? No, you don't. So he's going to be useless once that happens. But for now, I would be advised picking up. Will I start him week 2? Like I said, I'd be cautious. If I was feeling a bit dangerous, like Baker Mayfield, I would fucking start him. But you have to be feeling dangerous in order to do it. Now, I think that the fact that Marvin Lewis is gone, the fact that their coach, Zach Taylor, seems like a smart guy. They almost beat the Seahawks on Sunday. So it seems like this team will be pretty solid, not solid, but like a pretty good team on offense. So I think John Ross definitely has some value. Now we're getting into the running backs. My number 1 running back pickup of the week, Chris Thompson, running back, Washington, our words, owned in 2.7% on NFL.com. Now, he had 10 targets and 68 receiving yards with 3 rushes for 10 yards on Sunday. And at the beginning of the game, Darius Geis was the RB1 due to the fact that he was not hurt. Now he's hurt, likely out a few games. With Geis gone, he is my favorite running back pickup of the week. Like I said, he's going to be getting so many targets out the ass. It's going to be amazing. Go ahead and pick up AP if you want, but his value, not as good as Chris Thompson's at all. Chris Thompson is that amazing PPR back from the years ago. He can still do it now. I really do believe in Chris Thompson. The next guy, Rojo, Ronald Jones, Tampa Bay running back, owned in 32% of leagues on NFL.com. 13 rushes for 75 yards and 1 target for 18 yards, because I can't fucking type. It should say yards. Don't love picking him up at all, okay? But he's worth a stash. He played pretty solid. Will he ever become the RB1 on the team? Maybe. If he plays like this again, maybe they phase Peyton Barber out even more to just a pass-catching role. If that happens, Ronald Jones will definitely have been worth this pickup. The next guy we're going to talk about here is Malcolm Brown, LA Rams running back, owned in 1.7% of leagues on NFL.com. Is he the handcuff for Gurley? That is the question. When Gurley's in the game, he's getting a lot of usage. Or when Gurley's playing, he's getting a lot of usage, whereas Henderson isn't. But who knows what would happen when Gurley goes down? Is it Malcolm Brown? Is it Darrell Henderson? Who really knows? Malcolm Brown had 2 touchdowns on 11 carries for 53 yards. Is it worth stashing him? Yes. Can you play him every week? No. Can you play him next week? Probably not, because there's no way he's going to get 2 touchdowns on 11 carries again. He had a whole drive where he scored a touchdown. I believe he was playing the whole drive, and then I feel like he almost vultured Gurley. If they use Gurley more, Gurley seemed pretty healthy in the game. I mean, he only scored like 10 fantasy points, but he got like 75% of the snaps, was playing pretty well. So I think that I'm not really too worried about Malcolm Brown. I think I would stash him, but I don't feel comfortable playing him. Next guy, TJ Hawkingod, Detroit tight end. TJ Hawkinson is his real name, owned in 17.8% of leagues on NFL.com. 6 receptions for 131 yards and a touchdown. Those numbers speak for themselves. I didn't even write anything else for you to read. The fact is that it seems like Matt Stafford likes targeting the tight end. It seems like Matt Patricia, that pencil in the ear motherfucker, likes designing plays for Hawkinson. Hawkinson played great. If Matt Stafford continues to throw on the ball like this, go ahead and pick up TJ Hawkinson. He, in my opinion, is the best tight end pickup besides this other guy. I think they're like 1A and 1B, probably finish near each other at the end of the year. And that second guy is Darren Waller, Oakland tight end, owned in 10.2% of leagues on NFL.com. Now, he had 7 receptions for 70 yards when the game came to a close against the Broncos. He has high praise from Gruden. Gruden's like, oh man, I can't even do his accent. Or not his accent, his fucking, his stupid voice. Knock one time if you're with me. Darren Waller is going to be great. He's got high praise from Gruden. He was used heavily. Gruden says he's a special weapon. He's like a goddamn fucking Swiss Army knife or whatever the fuck they say. They designed plays just for Waller. I think Waller will definitely have some solid use going down the stretch the whole season, because it seems like Derek Carr really does like that tight end. Last year, you saw Jared Cook played amazing. He was really the only fucking receiver on the team. Now, Waller has Tyrell Williams on the team. Tyrell Williams is also a guy you should probably pick up, but he's likely gone, so I didn't even mention him at all. But I think that he's definitely Darren Waller is definitely a solid tight end pickup. Same with Hawkinson. Who you like more really determines on if you think that the Lions, in my opinion, could be a good team. I personally like Waller slightly more, but Hawkinson I also do like. I call him Hawkin God, you know. I told you guys to draft him, but I told you to be cautious about it because I didn't know when that breakout would be. It clearly was week 1. Will he play like that next week? Will he get, let's see how many yards he got. Oh, fuck. Spoilers. He got 6 receptions for 131 yards. I doubt he'll get 131 yards next week, but he's definitely worth the pickup. And Waller could probably score next week. If maybe he gets 5 receptions for 50 yards and a touchdown, you're feeling pretty good about it. Honorable mentions. See, these are the guys that didn't make the list. I'm going to talk about some other guys that aren't on the screen, but these are honorable mentions of guys you may want to stash on your team, put on your bench, and just think about, but I didn't want to fully break them down. Giovanni Bernard. Now, if Mixon is out, fire up Giovanni Bernard. That's why he's on here. When Mixon's out, Giovanni Bernard will be the workhorse on the team, and it will be worth a pickup for that. Next guy, DJ Shark. DJ Shark? DJ Shark. Or Chark, how the fuck you pronounce his last name, wide receiver of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is going to be quite electric on the field. Mr. Mishu, or whatever the quarterback's name is, because I'm terrible at pronouncing names. That dude looks like a beast, guys. He has a sick mustache, and he played pretty well. Nick Foles is absent. He seemed to like targeting Mr. DJ Shark, so I would be willing to target him. This last guy on the list, but I may talk about some other guys, Terry McLaurin. Never heard of this guy before until yesterday. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not the smartest fucking guy because I didn't know who he was. He's a wide receiver on Washington, and he played pretty goddamn phenomenal. Would I be comfortable starting him week 2? No. Would I be comfortable starting him any week? No. Will I pick him up? Maybe. because I'd like to see maybe week 2 he blows up. Then I'm going to start him week 3. He's just a guy you got to stash, but you can't feel too comfortable playing week 2. Now, there's some other quarterbacks I would like to talk about at the end of the video. They're not on the screen, but we're going to talk about Mr. Derek Carr. Now, Derek Carr looked phenomenal last night. I talked about it in the video from earlier today. I would be willing to pick him up in like a 2 quarterback league, or if you just Jameis Winston was putrid and you have no one else, maybe fly with him. Another guy you could fly with is Andy Dalton, the Ginger Ninja. Looked pretty fucking good against Seattle. Defense that you would think would be pretty good. He fucking torched them. Him and John Ross fucking tore those guys a new asshole. And I think that he could also be worth a pickup. And that's about really it. No other guys that are on my mind right now to pick up in fantasy football. So thank you guys all for watching. Oh, actually, let me talk about one more guy. Michael Gallup, wide receiver, Dallas Cowboys. He's probably owned in your league. Played fucking amazing. He is the 1B on the team, I'd say. Him and Amari were really getting a lot of the targets, and I think he's going to look pretty great down the stretch. So thank you guys all for watching. I love each and every one of you guys a lot. Please click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and have a great goddamn day. Good boy.